Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Nothing Phone 2 and my 1 month experience daily driving this and using it as a primary device, and it just feels very good using this. Definitely a step up over the Nothing Phone 1, which I have got right here as well. Full disclosure, both of these phones are bought by my own money, and these are all my thoughts, and I'm just gonna be telling you guys how I found the Nothing Phone 2 to be in comparison to the Nothing Phone 1, and should you actually spend your hard-earned money on the Nothing Phone 2 if you're out in the market trying to see what your new phone is gonna be like. So stick around and we'll talk further. You know, I really like the build of the Nothing Phone 2, especially because it now has a curved back glass design, and the curved glass really helps when you're holding the phone in the palm of your hand, because with the Nothing Phone 1, because I use it without a case, although I do have the cases, it just was always poking on the palm of my hand, but this does not do it that much, and it just feels very comfortable to hold it even without a case. I really love the way that the Nothing Phone 2 is built, especially because of the added weight. Yes, the Nothing Phone 2 is heavier than the Nothing Phone 1, not by much, but it does help make the phone feel a little bit more premium than the Nothing Phone 1 was. Not saying that the Nothing Phone 1 doesn't feel premium, the Nothing Phone 2 has just stepped it up a little bit, and I really enjoy how this phone 2 feels. I did talk about the differences of the Nothing Phone 1 and the Nothing Phone 2 in the unboxing video, but living with this phone, I was not even thinking about the Nothing Phone 1. I never even compared it with the Nothing Phone 1 when I was daily driving the Nothing Phone 2. I just forgot about the Nothing Phone 1 in general. So yes, this is an upgrade. And if you are someone who already has the Nothing Phone 1, but we're thinking, well, I've saved up the money, should I buy the Nothing Phone 2? Well, if you can afford it, I would say go for it, because you're gonna find a completely different experience with the Nothing Phone 2. The software as well is very different to the Nothing Phone 1, and not saying that the Nothing Phone 1 will not catch up to it, but currently the Nothing Phone 2 software feels really good. When I got the Nothing Phone 2, it had the Nothing OS 2.0, and slowly in a couple of days, I got the Nothing OS 2.0.1, followed by 2.0.2 in a span of maybe 2 weeks or something, which was very quick. All of the updates primarily focused around improving the camera, reducing the bugs, even before the user could experience those bugs. So I really liked how Nothing was prioritizing fixing any and all issues that arose with the Nothing Phone 2. With the Nothing Phone 1, a lot of the users were facing a lot of the issues. Nothing was working all around the clock to fix all those problems, but they were struggling because the Nothing Phone 1 was their first ever smartphone. With the Nothing Phone 2, they definitely learned a lot. With the Nothing Phone 1, they implemented that in the Nothing Phone 2, which is why they were able to have a much more better user experience delivered to the users who bought the Nothing Phone 2. The Nothing Phone 2 also is a step up when it comes to the battery life. The Nothing Phone 1 last year could last me one entire day of power packed use, but I would definitely need to plug it in before I go to bed. The Nothing Phone 2, even if I use it in a power packed day, I still have about 30% remaining, meaning that I could go to bed without even charging it, and I could get maybe the next half of my day completed with that 30% remaining. So that was very good. I really enjoyed the battery life on the Nothing Phone 2. I could get a lot more done without worrying about plugging it in before I go to bed. And usually I don't have to remember plugging it in because I just put it in the wireless charger next to my bedside. But there were times when I did not put it on the wireless charger on my bedside, and the Nothing Phone 2 still had like about 28% the next day. I could get more things done as I was walking to work, and it lasted me pretty much the first quarter of the day, if not the entire half day. So the battery life was pretty impressive to me. The camera as well, I've used both of them, and I was much more happier with the results of the Nothing Phone 2. It is much more natural. When you do shoot in the 50 megapixel mode, the photos become a bit more saturated, but Nothing is definitely working around the clock, releasing bug fixes and releasing feature improvements for the cameras, so I wouldn't be worried about that too much. But the photos in general, when you point and shoot, is definitely better on the Nothing Phone 2 compared to the Nothing Phone 1. The other thing about the Nothing Phone 2 is that the glyph lights are much more usable now. In the past, the Nothing Phone 1 glyph lights, I thought of it as gimmick because the only time it was useful was when somebody was calling, texting, or you got some notifications and it would light up. And also you would have to ensure that for visibility, it is on the table face down so that the glyph light is facing up and you could see the glyph lights when somebody was calling or you were getting some notification. Pretty much that is the same case with the Nothing Phone 2 as well. But now there's some apps that can make use of the glyph lights. For example, if you're in India and if you have like a food delivering app called Zomato, you could track your deliveries by monitoring the progress around the glyph lights here. You can turn that on by going to the glyph lights and enabling the third-party glyph notification, but you would need to have those apps installed in your phone first, and then you can get started with that. Uber Eats as well, the same thing. It's supported. You can track the progress of your delivery in the glyph lights, which is quite good. You could also have a glyph stopwatch, meaning that when you put a timer, you can monitor the timer on the glyph lights as well. So they are slowly but surely adding much more usability to the glyph lights. But now that I've used the Phone 1 for quite some time, I actually enjoy the glyph lights. Whether it's a gimmick or not, it's for people to decide and how much of a use they can make out of it. I do find it much more fun having this, and especially during the nighttime. It really adds like a fill light if I want to take a photo. Yes, it doesn't make a massive difference, but it's there. Better to have it than not. That's what I like to say. These are some of the things that I find the Nothing Phone 2 to be a tad bit better in comparison to the Nothing Phone 1. Now, the food delivering apps and some of the other apps that can help you track the progress in the glyph lights, maybe they can release a software update to give the same feature or functionality to the Nothing Phone 1 because there are some individual light strips around the sides. They should be able to do that, but I don't think they're gonna do that because why would they? If they do, majority of the people might just resort to buying the Nothing Phone 1 over the Nothing Phone 2, but we have to wait and see what CarlPay decides on doing. Apart from that, everything else pretty much is very identical and similar, but the performance in my usability, I've noticed the Phone 2 to be much more performant, and yes, the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 on the Nothing Phone 2 is definitely the reason for it. The Nothing Phone 1 had the Snapdragon 788G Plus or something, and that's not the top of the range processor, whilst the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1, although it's a year old, is top of the line. So that's the reason why majority of the apps that you open do stay open in the background. For the Nothing Phone 1, I couldn't say the same thing. All the historical apps that you kept open in the Nothing Phone 1 would close automatically, but the Nothing Phone 2 tries to keep them open. And mostly it's because of the processor being used, because the Nothing Phone 1 has 12 gigs of RAM and the Nothing Phone 2 also has 12 gigs of RAM. Both of my units are 12 gigs RAM. The only difference is here inside is the processor 788G Plus 8 Gen 1. Overall, my experience with the Phone 2 has definitely been amazing. Definitely better than the Phone 1 as well. If you're someone who doesn't have the Phone 1 or the Phone 2, but you're looking for your new phone, I would say if you can, maybe save a little bit more and then skip the Phone 1 and go directly to Phone 2, because that is just going to be the best buy and the best experience in the comparison of these two phones. If you're in the market for a completely new phone, then if you're in the Android spectrum, then definitely go with the Nothing Phone 2 because it's gonna cost you a tad bit less. This is definitely better than the Pixel 7 as well, in my opinion, because I do have the Pixel 7. It's not as performant, it doesn't feel as fluid. The only thing better in the Pixel 7 is going to be the camera, because it does take good point and shoot photos. The video might be a tad bit better recorded on the Pixel 7 as well, but the Nothing Phone 2 is not really that bad when compared to the Pixel 7 in terms of point and shoot photos and in terms of video recording. It doesn't fall too back. Yes, definitely the Pixel 7 is the better choice for point and shoot photo and video, but for everything else, the Phone 2 is definitely your option. Because I've used both of them and because I've experienced both of them, I can definitely say that the Phone 2 is gonna be the best buy even when compared to the Pixel 7. I'll leave it here and leave it for you guys to decide on what you should pick. But let me tell you, as a user of both the Phone 1 and both the Phone 2, if I was out in the market and I was picking between one of these two, I would definitely go with the Phone 2. If I was picking between Pixel 7 and Phone 2, I would definitely go with the Phone 2. If I was picking between any other Android devices in the price range of Phone 2, I would still go Phone 2, because using this and daily driving this as my primary device for almost a month, I can definitely say this is a good phone. So really happy with what the Nothing team has done with the Phone 2. Really happy with what Carl Pei has been able to gather from the Nothing Phone 1 and implement it better in the Nothing Phone 2. It's been amazing. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Till then, peace.